The Philippine Constitution. Basic facts. The Philippines has had a total of 6 constitutions throughout its history. For every change in the constitution, the president releases a proclamation to mark the date when the new charter took effect. February 2nd of each year is celebrated as Constitution Day in the Philippines. These constitutions reflect the country's changing political landscape and societal aspirations. (1897) Bayaknobato Constitution. Established in Bayaknobato, Bulacan. It was known as the Constitution Provisional de la República de Filipinas, Provisional Constitution of the Philippines. Include provisions for a presidential system and the use of both Spanish and Tagalog languages. Freedom of press and religion. Equality for all before the law. 1899 Malolos Constitution. This was the first republican constitution in Asia. It declared that sovereignty resides exclusively in the people. Basic civil rights: separation of church and state, creation of an Assembly of Representatives as the legislative body implementing democratic traditions. Filipinos emerged from the dark ages of colonialism. 1935 The Commonwealth Constitution, written in 1934 and adopted by the Commonwealth of the Philippines. Used during the Third Republic and served as a preparatory step for complete independence. February 8 The Constitutional Convention creates a new constitution. This convention was tasked with drafting the foundational law for the Commonwealth of the Philippines. February 15 The 1935 Philippine Constitution is officially signed. May 14 The Philippine electorates ratified the Constitution in a referendum. On this day, the Filipino people expressed their approval of the newly drafted Constitution, solidifying its legal status. 1973 Constitutional Authoritarianism. The 1973 Constitution played a crucial role in shaping the country's governance during that period, despite the challenges posed by martial law and political changes. June 1971 to November 30, 1972. The Constitutional Convention convened with 320 delegates tasked with drafting a new constitution. September 21, 1972. While the process of drafting the new constitution was underway, President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law in the Philippines. January 17, 1973. Presidential Proclamation No. 1102 was issued by President Marcos, certifying and proclaiming that the 1973 Constitution had been ratified by the Filipino people. The Constitution officially came into effect on this day. 1987 Freedom Constitution. February 2, 1987. A national plebiscite was held on this day to ratify the new constitution. More than 3/4 of all votes cast were in favor of ratification. February 11, 1987. President Corazon Aquino announced the official canvassing of results and the ratification of the draft constitution. The 1987 Philippine Constitution came into full force and effect on this day. Republic Act No. 8371 of the Philippines defines indigenous peoples. Protect and promote the rights of indigenous cultural communities/indigenous peoples, creating a National Commission of Indigenous Peoples, establishing implementing mechanisms, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Philippine indigenous peoples struggle as the basis for their continued existence as peoples in accordance with their own cultural patterns, social institutions, and legal systems. It contextualizes the Philippines' contemporary recognition of indigenous peoples' rights, including the requirement to obtain their free prior informed consent (FPIC) within the country's colonial and post-colonial legal frameworks, and considers the challenges faced in implementing the 1997 Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act (IPRA). This comprehensive legislation recognizes, protects, and promotes the rights of indigenous cultural communities (ICCs) and indigenous peoples (IPs). The IPRA establishes mechanisms for the recognition, protection, and promotion of indigenous rights, emphasizing cultural integrity and participation in decision-making. It's a crucial step toward safeguarding the rich heritage and well-being of indigenous communities in the Philippines. The state recognizes and promotes all the rights of ICCs/IPs within the framework of national unity and development. It protects their rights to ancestral domains, ensuring economic, social, and cultural well-being. Customary laws governing property rights are considered in determining ownership and extent of ancestral domains. Salamat.